KBFers, Chad Hoover. I am on the road again, and so here's the thing. I've taken the time to really kind of decide some of the things that I want to say before finishing up this video series. If you're watching this video first, there's actually two other parts to this, so I'll link those up in the description box, and you can go back and kind of bring yourself up to speed. So this is part 3. This is sponsorships, the good stuff, the advanced sponsorship methodology. You know, by and large, you don't go directly to sponsorship without, at least in the fishing community, without going through the pro staff and pro deal kind of process first. And to bring you back up to speed, a pro deal is basically the company gives you, you know, the product at the same thing they sell it to retailers for, or at wholesale. The pro staff position is generally that you're getting involved in the product testing, you're getting involved in the product design, you're getting the product before the general public does, and you're able to be part of, you know, the developmental process. Generally, when you're on the pro staff, there's some type of compensation, whether it is monetarily or through comped product. Some of those lines have been muddied these days because there's so many social media pro staffers. But by and large, if you're getting paid or if you're getting a free product, you know, that's moving you into that sponsorship category. For the most part, I consider pro deal that you get it at a discount, pro staff that you don't pay for the product, and then sponsored that you get paid to use and endorse the product. And so you can be on the pro staff and be sponsored. You can be sponsored and not be on the pro staff, but very rarely are you at the sponsorship level and still doing the pro deal thing. So that's kind of the baseline. Those have been covered. So let's talk about some more of the advanced stuff. How do you get the attention of a company? Man, this is a simple, hard, and fast rule that just seems to be hard to comprehend these days for folks looking for sponsorship deals. I've heard people say, well, I don't want to use a particular product until I'm sponsored by them. I want to leave the door open in case company B decides to sponsor me. I don't want all of this inventory out there of me using company A's product. And, you know, I just think that's a recipe for disaster. If you're looking to be more than a flash in the pan, if you're looking to have some longevity in this industry. So my advice is, first and foremost, if you want to be sponsored by, have a relationship with a company, if you want to endorse a company, use their product. Use their product first, and make sure that you want to put your name behind that particular brand. Make sure that you are comfortable with your name being affiliated or associated with it. Be willing to buy that product. If you're not willing to buy the product that you offer advice on, and that you promote and that you endorse, you're going to have a short career in the professional side of being a marketing professional. So make no mistake about it. A pro staffer is a marketing professional. You are helping market the product. You know, it's just part of the deal. There is a expectation of return on investment for every level of relationship, from pro deal to pro staff to sponsorship. And ironically enough, the more compensation that you're given, the higher your profile is with a company, the greater the expectation of return. And so what I would say that I would recommend everybody do is start with 1 to less than 4 companies in the beginning. Once you've got a strong relationship, once you've got Let me tell you how you know when you move on to adding companies 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 to your arsenal from a sponsorship standpoint. If you've got 3 companies that are sponsoring you and not a single one of those companies are using your photograph, your social media posts, articles you've written, your likeness in video or otherwise, if they're not involving you in working on trade shows, if you find out about products that company makes before or at the same time the general public does, you're probably not ready to move on to being sponsored or having a pro deal for several other companies if you're looking for major sponsorship consideration. If all you're looking for is to reduce your cost of doing what you love and having pro deals with everybody that you use, I mean, think about it. You're cutting the price of what you do in half or more, and $1 saved is $1 made. So, you know, that works. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about true sponsorships. So there's a couple things to avoid, in my opinion, and you see this a lot, and even some of my good friends and close pro staff affiliations are guilty of some of this. It's okay to do sponsor clusters at certain times. If you're working on a project, like I work on Kayak Bassin TV, so when I announce that there's a new Kayak Bassin TV episode, I'll put all my sponsors in the list of things that I promote. But when you're promoting your rods, don't hashtag your clothing company, your kayak company, your shoe company, I mean every other company that you got. By and large, you're cluttering up that hashtag return for them. By tagging them, you're cluttering up their feed with things that don't have anything to do with their product. And so don't be a hashtagasaurus. Secondly, don't be the auto recommender guy. And here's what I mean by that. Every time somebody asks about a product, let's just say for instance, somebody asks about a particular reel and they've narrowed it down to 2 reels. Company A and Company B. If you're sponsored by Company C, don't swoop in with your cape on and land in the middle of the field and say, stop. Before you make one of those considerations, make sure you consider my company. They've already done that, and your company didn't make the final 2. So give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't be that guy or don't be that girl. Use your product, use their product, and let the use of the product be the endorsement. Not just lip service, not just photos and staging and videos that are made to promote it, product reviews, unboxings. Don't let that be your only endorsement. Your endorsement, if you want to be a legitimate pro, has to be you using that product and those products showing up in photography for another product that you're promoting, or in just anything that you're doing. So keep in mind, using the product, getting out and putting that product through the paces is your number 1 job as a sponsored athlete, as a sponsor professional. Providing feedback to that company is right there, you know, number 1, number 2 interchangeably sometimes with doing your job. Providing feedback to the company as far as your activity and what you're accomplishing. A real simple activity report, if you're trying to be sponsored, will not only keep you honest for reporting back to your sponsors for what you've done, but it'll make sure that you're covering your bases, you know, as you create content throughout the month, week, year, you know, whatever it is that you know, whatever your schedule is going to be, whatever level that you're striving for. And this is going to be last but not least, and it's definitely not the last thing you should do, but it's the last, and it's the exclamation point on my discussion about achieving sponsorships. I could do a 2-hour video on all the little small strategies. Comment below with a particular question and I'll give you my answer. I am going to do a private video about this for KBF members where I reveal some of my just ridiculously good strategies for approaching sponsors, how to get paid, and how to maximize your time and expedite the process of doing so. But above that, and this is still just as good of information as anything, you know, that I'm going to provide back there. I'm just going to provide some very specific strategies that I don't want I don't want companies to get bombarded with folks taking my advice to do this. That's why it's going to be just a tiny bit more selective. But develop a personal relationship with the company that you're working with. Know their marketing director, know the sales reps, know the national sales manager, know the people who are the decision makers. If your company markets and promotes their products through an agency, know the people at the agency. Figure out what other products are in their cadre of products that they promote and support, and make sure, if nothing else, you don't step on your own toes in promoting something that's a conflict with what else they promote. Make sure that you be open to the opportunity to use and evaluate products that might be outside your comfort zone, and there's the potential that could develop into a relationship. By and large, I'm not a fan of that. By and large, I'm a fan of decide what products you want to use as a consumer. Go out and buy it. Let your dollar vote be what you chose. Use it, endorse it, promote it, and let the relationship come. I'm not saying you don't make contact, you don't email the company, that you don't comment on their stuff. Interacting with companies through social media on their page these days is one of the quickest ways to get recognized. Hashtagging, copying them and tagging them in Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and things like that are great ways to get your name in front of the decision makers. But don't jump the gun too soon. Don't do one video for Strike King Lures and like that next day send a pro staff letter with a resume that you copied and massaged and filled it out with as much stuff as you can, and then send it to Strike King the next day and say, hey, I did this one thing, I'd like to be considered for your pro staff. And then last but not least, I'm going to end this video with this. Definitely am looking forward to the questions, and based on the questions and the feedback, I may have to do a follow-up video. Whatever you do, do not send correspondence that says, if you sponsor me, I will then use your product. That is the quickest way to end up in the trash can next to the desk of the person that does the marketing if you are, if that company really cares about credibility. So don't do that. Don't do that. Go out, find products you love and you believe in, you either have spent or you would spend your own money on, and make sure that if your buddy that you said go buy this bought it, that he would be happy with the product and he wouldn't, be resentful of you for being the one that turned him onto it. And if you follow those simple rules and that simple philosophy, you'll pick up more sponsorships by default. You'll have better relationships with your sponsors, secondly, and you'll have more longevity in the industry when it comes to being a sponsored athlete, working your way up the ladder, and being able to potentially even do this full time. So anyway, hope you liked this video on sponsorships. I'm Chad Hoover with Kayak Bassin TV. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked the content. And as always, please subscribe to Kayak Bassin TV.